Hi, it's Summer and happy day one of Winterween. I've participated in this readathon a few times now and it's one of my favorites every single year. It's meant to kind of bring like the Halloween spirit into different seasons of the year, and it's kind of themed around like horror books and thrillers. I'll put all of the information and links and stuff about the readathon in the description in case you want to go check any of that out. I'm just going to start off by talking about the reading prompts. The first prompt is to read a book in the dark or at night. Second is to read a horror or a thriller. Third is to read a book with red on the cover. Number 4 is to read a vampire book, because the theme for this round is kind of like vampires and stuff. Or it says you can also read a book with like witches, werewolves, like that kind of paranormal aspect. And then number 5 is to read a 2025 release that you didn't get to last year. I've already talked about this a little bit here and on Instagram, but I'm trying to read less this year and to read more purposefully. And so I just tried to pick like a couple of books that would fit most of these prompts. I didn't want to have like 5 books on my TBR because I have done that for previous readathons. I have a book that I started, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, that I'm going to be counting for this readathon too. And that is The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. Right now I'm at 79%. I've been really taking my time with this book, and this is the first book that I've picked up for 2026. I'll tell you what though, it's been a little bit rough. I have almost DNF'd this one multiple times. It just feels like it's moving so slow. That could also be because I'm listening to it at 1.5 speed when I usually, like last year, was listening to audiobooks at 2 times speed. I felt like listening to it at 1.5 would be a good move towards accomplishing my goal of like reading less and more purposefully. I have been meaning to look up how many pages it is though, because I don't even know how long of a book it is. It's 352 pages, which is like an average sized book. So I don't know why it literally feels like it's 500 pages. It just is very slow. Like the pacing is very slow, and it's not very scary. It's more just kind of like unsettling. It's a medieval horror and it's following this castle who is under siege. They've been under attack for 6 months now and everybody's starving. We're mainly following 3 women in this castle. There's one who used to be some kind of like nun for the religion that this castle believes in. I think she was kind of kicked out though. We're also following a knight, and then we're also following another woman who is kind of like on the run from her past, and she has a connection to one of these other characters. So we get each of their perspectives with the siege and everything that happens, and then also them when they end up kind of coming together. The character that used to be a nun or part of this like religious practice is named Focine, I'm pretty sure. I think that she got like kicked out because of like using like kind of the darker side of the religion or something. The other kind of like nun figures are trying to use these saints that they worship to perform miracles, and so is Focine, but using different methods. The king has tasked her with basically creating food from nothing, because not too long before that she created this miracle of being able to purify the water because they had no more clean water in the castle, and so she has a lot of pressure put on her. She doesn't really know what she's doing. She kind of just got lucky with the last miracle. And then at some point the saints that this religion worships come to the castle and they save everyone. That's pretty much all I knew about it going in, and I felt like I was waiting forever for the saints to show up. I just kind of wanted the action to get started, and it just felt like it took so long. There are definitely like some gross parts of this book, but I really have almost DNF'd it a handful of times. I'm far enough in now that I just feel like I need to just see what happens. But right now I'm kind of feeling like this would have been better as like a novella. I do really like the medieval vibes though. I like that it's very fever dreamy. I do like the gross horror aspects that have been brought in. It's kind of like, I guess you could say body horror. I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything just in case. But that book could count for read a book in the dark or at nighttime, unless I finish it like during the day today. It's a horror book, so it counts for that prompt. I don't think it has red on the cover. It's not a vampire book, but it does kind of have like magic and stuff in it. So like maybe it could kind of be counted as like a witchy book. That's kind of reaching, but like maybe I'll count it. But it is a 2025 release that I didn't get to last year that I wanted to. So it's counting for that one. And then my next book on this TBR is The Caretaker by Marcus Klewer, or Klewer. I am literally so excited that I have an arc for this. It comes out sometime this year, I think April maybe. This one is a horror. I definitely want to read it in the dark or at nighttime. This is what the cover looks like when it's not on my Kindle, so definitely has red on the cover. I honestly know nothing about this book, so I have no idea if it does have supernatural creatures like vampires, witches, werewolves in it. My plan is to go in without knowing anything. and is obviously a 2026 release, so it doesn't fit for the 2025 prompt, but my other one does, so that's fine. My friend Shaylee, who is Book of Moths on Instagram, recently read The Caretaker. I commented on her story where she was talking about it and told her that I have an arc for it, that I'm really excited to read it, and she said to go in without knowing anything because that's how she did it, and it was a really fun reading experience for her. So also because of that, I don't really know how much I want to like really talk about details with the book, just in case anybody else also wants to go into it without knowing anything. I feel like I do want to talk about it though, because I feel like the vlog would be kind of boring if I literally like don't say anything about the book that I'm reading. I'm not planning to talk spoilers about any of these books, but maybe I'll put like a warning on the screen when I am going to talk kind of about like plot points and stuff and characters, just in case you want to know like literally nothing before going in. So yeah, I haven't started that one yet, but my plan is to start it tonight. I have an appointment later in the day that's going to be like a couple hours, so I'm gonna have some good downtime to be reading, so I think that's when I'm probably going to start it. And then this week there are also photo prompts. So the prompt for today is to post a picture of your TBR. So I still need to take the picture, so I'll probably film when I'm doing that. I don't really know if there's going to be a whole lot else that I film today. I do also have a Free People package though that's supposed to be getting delivered today, so I might have to do a little haul because I got some really cute stuff. I think some of it I might be returning because I took a chance on a couple of things, but I used a little bit of my Christmas money and then also my discount. So I got a few things. I think I got like 7 items or something. Okay, wait, I just got a Ring notification and I think that my order may have just been delivered. Oh my gosh, that was like perfect timing. I'm gonna go check really quick. I'll be right back. Okay, that literally was the luckiest timing ever. I'm gonna start with the shoes because I am really excited about these. Okay, look how cute these are. I'm obsessed. I really hope they fit. Wow, I'm more flexible than I thought. This one is like a bandana top. I love the colors of this one. So cute. Maybe I'll do a little try on after this because I really want to see how everything fits. These are some like little slip shorts. Oh my gosh, these are so cute. I didn't even know about like this little like lace detail right here. Oh, they are very see-through though. I'm gonna have to wear like some little shorts underneath them, but I think they're really cute. This one is from Free People Movement and it's called the Breathe Deeper Cami in the color Graphite. I've been wanting some kind of like tighter fitting tops to go with some of my pants that are a little bit more like bigger and like billowy, like my barrel jeans or my bloomer pants from Free People. So I thought this could be kind of like a fun option. It also though could be out of my comfort zone because I think it is like pretty cropped and it is tighter fitting, and my comfort zone is definitely like a bigger like baggy t-shirt, so we'll see how I like it. This one is also from Free People Movement. It's the Hot Shot Mini Skirt in the color black. This looked really short online and my manager also told me that it's really short. I don't really want my booty cheeks hanging out for everyone to see, even though I live in Vegas. Nobody probably would bat an eye, but I just personally don't want that. Yeah, this is pretty tiny. I got this in an extra large. If I wear it like low rise, it'll be a little bit longer, but I usually like stuff to be high rise, so I don't know. Maybe I could wear like some biker shorts underneath it to make it a little less scandalous, but I guess we'll see when I try it on. This t-shirt I'm so excited about. It's so cute. It's actually ironic because I don't like tomatoes, but the shirt was so cute that I just don't care. Also the cute like embroidered detail right here. I got this one in a large because it definitely looked really oversized. Okay, I'm gonna try everything on and show you because I just really want to see how everything worked out. Okay, this is the t-shirt. The fit is a little bit interesting because the arms are like super long and then this is like kind of cropped for the proportion of the arms. I think I like it though. I need to actually go look in a mirror instead of just the viewfinder, but I love the colors. I love the little flowers that are on it. I think I'm gonna try it on with the skirt. She's definitely pretty short. I pulled it down a little bit lower. It's probably about as short as I have like a red mini skirt or skirt that I got from Anthropology. So pulled down, it's probably about as long as that. I'm gonna try these ones on next. I don't really think I like these. I think they're cute, but the material is giving me the ick a little bit like sensory sin, like I don't like it. Okay, I'm not totally sure about this one. I really wish that it came down to here because this, I'm gonna be just like self-conscious about it every time I wear it. Also, this is really low and I don't know if I love that cut on me. It's really comfy though, and it looks cute with my like bloomer pants, which is what I would wear them with. Probably not these colors together. I'm gonna try this one on though, because I think that this would look really cute together. Okay, this technically fit, but it just like is not very much fabric. I just felt really exposed. So I don't think I'm gonna keep it. I think it would just make me feel uncomfortable and self-conscious every time I wore it. So I think I'm gonna be returning these ones, the top, the shorts, and this. And then I need to try these with shorts underneath. Okay, it's a little bit later. I got a little bit sidetracked. I ate something really quick and then I was running out of time to take my picture. So I just took like a really quick, like simple one of me just like holding my Kindle, and then I'm gonna put just like a digital picture of the cover like next to it because I don't own the Starving Saints physically. This is what it turned out like. Happy day 3 of Winterween. I didn't really vlog very much yesterday or today at all really. I did just film some clips for the reel for today. The Instagram photo prompt is to post a reel of your reading routine. If I end up liking how it turns out, I'll pop it up here on the screen. And then yesterday the Instagram prompt was to post a picture of some red spines. I had to work and I didn't think to take the picture earlier, like the day before. And so I ended up on my lunch break finding an old photo from a couple of years ago of some pink book spines. And technically pink is just like a lighter version of red, so I decided to just like post it and count it. Yesterday though, right as I pulled into my parking spot at work, my audiobook ended. So I did finish The Starving Saints. I feel like I've kind of been struggling to figure out what rating I want to give it. It just feels very like middle of the road. Like it wasn't bad, but it also wasn't great. So I kind of feel like I'm just gonna go with like a 2.5. I did like the writing style. I did like that it felt like we got to know the characters. The horror elements were creepy. I just wish, or not so much creepy, they were just gross. I liked the fever dream aspect of it. I do wish that it was a little bit scarier though. Pretty much everything that I've said about the book previously, I still felt. Overall though, my main feelings with it are that the pacing just wasn't good. It felt way too long. I really liked the medieval vibes, but like I already said, I'm just repeating myself. I do think that it would have been better as more of like a novella. I could definitely see some people loving this though, so don't let my sort of negative review sway you from reading it if it sounds like something you might like. And I still haven't started The Caretaker. I have a really hard time starting books physically. It just feels like such a big undertaking, but I know that once I sit down and start it, I'm going to have a fun time. Also, while I was filming the reel today, because I was like faking like reading my book, I didn't actually film myself when I was going to be sitting down and reading. I just kind of staged it. But when I set up my Kindle on my little like tripod pillow thing, I wanted to get a clip of me like clicking the page. So I did get to see kind of like parts of the book, because I think I read like the first page or something when I was getting it set up on my Kindle a few days ago. But on the next couple of pages, it looked like there was Morse code again, just like in We Used to Live Here, which was one of my like favorite parts of the book, that it was like interactive. So I'm excited that that's probably going to be a part of this book as well. Anyway, I'm hoping to pick that up tonight and like actually officially start it. It might not be for a second though, because I have a friend coming over in like a half hour. I'm gonna help make like some tiny alterations to a couple of her shirts that she has. So I have my sewing machine set up over there, and then we're gonna go get dinner after that. Anyone you want. Do anything you want. I'm so sorry if you can hear my washing machine in the background. I should have waited until after I filmed this to start my load of laundry. But happy day, I think 4 of Winterween. I did finally start The Caretaker last night, and I read a little bit more this morning. I'm 10% of the way through, and I am so hooked. The vibes and the atmosphere, the setting, oh my gosh, everything is so creepy and eerie. I have just been like so excited to keep reading this. It's been a minute since I have felt like that, especially towards like physically reading a book. I think I'm only like maybe 2 or 3 chapters in, so I'm not very far at all. But in case you don't want to hear anything about the book and just go in completely without knowing anything, you can skip to this time, or you can just skip forward until you see that I'm not holding this up anymore. Just to warn you too, I'm going to talk in like full detail of what the prologue and first chapter, like what happens in it. I figure they are in the very, very beginning of the book though, so I don't feel like it's like really a spoiler to talk about that. First of all, the code that I saw in the beginning of this, I thought that that was like the beginning of the book where it started, but it's actually just kind of like, here's a quick little blurb of what it's about, like a brief synopsis. But the code at the bottom was a set of 3 numbers. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's only for the promotional material or if it's actually going to be in the rest of this book. So I guess we'll find out. So far though, with the vibes, this is kind of reminding me of The Cabin in the Woods by, I don't remember his name, but the prologue is that we're following this older guy. I think he's in his 70s. His name is David, I think. And he lives in this secluded neighborhood in Oregon, I believe, or just somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. His house is on the very edge of these woods. He lives there with his wife. And when we are meeting him for the first time, it's nighttime and he has just heard 3 knocks on his front door. And to him, that means it's time to start his rituals. We find out that he has learned about these rituals that he has to do because one day he was at the grocery store and he got all of a sudden this really terrible headache, and he got this vision of a terrible world outcome, like the end of the world or something, if he didn't get home right then. So he races home. We don't know what happened after that, except for he got more visions of these rituals that he needed to do to stop bad things from happening. So anyway, now that we have that background knowledge, it talks about him opening the front door, looking outside. He has a flashlight and he can see these like footsteps. And he says that it's another visitor, which are, according to him, not human. There may be some kind of like entity that wear the face of a human or act like they're human. And I guess occasionally when he gets 3 knocks on the door, it means there's a visitor and he has to go track them down and guide them back to his house with them walking behind him, and he, under no circumstances, is supposed to look back at them, like turn his back around. So he's walking through these woods, he's tracking down this person, and he hears someone kind of like weeping a little bit, like crying, kind of freaking out a little bit, and he feels like he can kind of like recognize the sound, like it sounds like someone who is familiar to him. He gets up to this person who's wearing a yellow rain jacket. They're on the ground, kind of like having a breakdown, and he recognizes the person as his son. Through some context clues, we kind of find out that his son has passed away, that the son did it himself, so there is a trigger warning for that. So this obviously is not his son, it's just something that looks like his son, but it's acting like his son. And so he's trying to help the person calm down and get them to follow him back to his house. He finally is able to do that. He's leading the way, his son is behind him. So David stops for a minute to listen and see if the visitor has disappeared, thinks that he does, and then all of a sudden, the visitor says, "I'm still here, David." And this thing shouldn't know his name. So that, ugh, chills. I immediately just was like, oh my god, that is terrifying, so creepy. The visitor rushes up on David. Luckily, David still hasn't like turned around to look at him or anything. Pushes him on the ground, and then David sees him in the distance running, like bolting straight for his house where his wife is still inside. And I guess there's kind of like rules to this. Like the visitors are not supposed to leave the border of his property, and they're also not supposed to get into the house. So he gets up, he's sprinting as fast as he can, and in his peripheral vision, he sees all of these other visitors wearing yellow rain jackets get up, and they're also bolting towards the house. And that's where that ends. So then it cuts to the first official chapter, and we're following Macy. She needs money, she's kind of desperate for it. She's taking care of her sister. I don't know how old her sister is. I think she's probably like in high school or something. And she is responding to this Craigslist ad for a caretaker, someone who's going to take care of David from the prologue. So something has happened to him after that event. So The whole first chapter is her on this bus at nighttime. But she gets dropped off at this neighborhood. She has to walk a long ways up to this house that's on the very edge of the neighborhood, and she's about to go in for the job interview. And that's where I'm at. I'm super excited to keep reading. I started it last night at like midnight and was getting creeped out enough that I put the book down and was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep and pick this back up again tomorrow. I picked it up again first thing when I woke up and read like 8%, because I think I really only made it like barely into the book the night before. And I wanted to keep reading, but I had to hurry and get ready for the day because I had a therapy appointment. And yeah, so anyway, I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to update you on. I do need to take a picture today. The picture is to post your current read. I feel like I've already posted like so many pictures this week though of this book and this cover. I don't really know if I need to post anything today. I might just kind of take a break. I think for right now though, I just want to sit down and get cozy and read. I have an ambiance on, I have a little drink. I'm so excited to see what else happens in this book. Happy day 6 of Winterween. I didn't film anything yesterday, which honestly is probably a good thing. Oh my god. It's probably a good thing because this video is already getting really long. I've already started editing it. Also, as you just heard, they're doing construction right outside of our house right now. They started using a jackhammer at 7 a.m., which I do not love, getting woken up at 7 a.m. on my day off, but anyway, anywhere that I am in my house, it's really loud. So there's not really a way to avoid it, and I want to do an update, so we're just gonna deal with it. I'm gonna start with a book update. I didn't read anything yesterday, but the day before that, I got to 33% in my book. I wanted to read some last night, but honestly, it's creepy enough that I don't really want to read it at night. I don't want to freak myself out. So far, the pacing is really good. We're getting right into the story. The atmosphere is still really creepy, alongside the cabin at the end of the world, which I think I called the cabin in the woods in an earlier clip. It actually literally might be in front of me on these bookshelves. The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. It's kind of giving me these vibes. And then also a little bit The Ring. Again, if you don't want to know anything about the plot, you can skip to this time or until I put this down. Our main character, I think her name is Macy, has accepted the job as the caretaker at this house. And she has also just learned about the rites that she's going to have to complete every night, or at least when they're called for. Things that she needs to do to upkeep the house and counteract some of the negative things that will happen. And it's really creepy. I think that this whole video so far I've been calling the rites rituals, which they might basically be like the same thing, but in the book David calls them rights. And that's pretty much my update. I'm really excited to keep reading today, but oh my gosh, the Animal Crossing, I think it's the 3.0 update, happened today. So I updated my Switch, or I updated Animal Crossing. So it's like taking everything in me to not just immediately go and play Animal Crossing because there's so many cool new features that got added, but I feel like I'm gonna save that for tonight when I'm like in bed and it's dark, because you already know I'm not going to be reading The Caretaker in the dark. So I'll read that right now during the daytime and then play games later. I do have some exciting things that happened yesterday though. I went and got 2 new tattoos. They look not great right now because like the ink is kind of bleeding underneath the Sanoderm and stuff, but this lighting is really bad too. But I got this little open locket with my cat's initials in it. I have an initial for Howl and Markle that are our current 2 cats. And I also got our cat Koa's initial. He was our cat that we had up until 2020. We had to say goodbye to him very abruptly and it was really traumatizing. We loved him so much, and so I'm really happy to finally like have a tattoo for him and for our other boys because I just love them so much. I know that locket tattoos are like really trendy and I'm really hoping that I don't regret it one day. But I've been thinking about this as my cat tattoo for probably like 3 years now. So I figured I might as well just go for it. And then I got a bumblebee next to my ladybug. I also got my ladybug touched up because it was almost a year I think since I got this one from the same artist. I waited a really long time to go get a touch up, so this one's gonna look super nice once it's all healed up. Well, they all are. The way that these heal are my absolute favorite. She's like a fine line artist and she has a really soft hand, so the way that these heal, it almost kind of looks like a soft like pencil drawing, but it's a tattoo and I love how it looks. So they're very soft and dainty and that's what I really like. So the bee is kind of in the same style as my ladybug and it has like a little cute dainty border around it. The bee is for The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, which is my favorite book. There's some imagery in the book that is based around bees, keys, and swords. So I also need to get a key and a sword, but I'm still finalizing that. The other thing that happened yesterday was that I got a jelly cat in the mail. I cannot tell you how happy I am about this. I literally manifested her. I put her on my vision board for this year, and literally like I think 2 days after I finished my vision board, I got a notification like super late at night that she was back in stock. She has been out of stock on the Jellycat website for since I've wanted her, like literally at least like 6 months probably. But I'm literally so obsessed with her. She's so cute. I actually like kind of squealed like a child when I was opening it. Am I almost 30? Yeah. But am I healing my inner child through stuffed animals? Also, yeah. And I love that for me. So I did actually use her in my picture for today for Instagram. The prompt for today is to post a picture of your current read with a snack. And I mean, she's pancakes, so I just like couldn't not use her in a picture, you know, like I had to. I'm also getting really sick of taking pictures of this book on my Kindle. That's definitely the problem I'm running into with having a really tiny TBR. I'm gonna sit down and read for a little bit, and I'm gonna try to keep the video footage and the updates to a minimum because like I said, this video is already getting really long. So I think maybe I'll try to do an update at like 50% and then we'll go from there. So it's literally a month later. That's why this vlog is getting put out so late and so far away from when Winterween actually was. But I just barely finished The Caretaker last night. Finally. I was going to try and give you like a 50% of the way update, but I just didn't want to. So I'm here to give you my final thoughts. For this one, I'm going with a 3.75 out of 5 stars. I don't think that I've ever really given a book a quarter star rating. I usually only ever do half stars, but it just felt right for this one, so I'm just going with it. My main thought after finishing this book is that I had a fun time. It was really creepy, but I have more questions than answers, and not in a good way. In the beginning of reading this, I kind of thought that it could be 5 stars. I was maybe having 5-star feelings, so I'm really sad that I didn't like it more, especially because We Used to Live Here was one of my favorite books of the year of 2025. In We Used to Live Here, it definitely has a lot of unanswered questions. You have more questions than answers, but it felt a little bit more satisfying, I guess, maybe. Like, you got the general vibe and things are kind of left up to your own interpretation a little bit, and it really worked for me in that one. I can definitely be a fan of open endings, things not being completely explained or answered all the way. I'm okay with that in books. The way that this one did it though, it just wasn't working for me. It mainly just felt a little bit half-baked. It had all of these really cool ideas and starts to things that I thought were going to get explained, and they never did. I wish this book would have been longer, which I feel like is a rare thing for me to say. I feel like I'm usually saying that things should be shorter, but I wish we would have just had more time for things to be more explored, and still could have ended with some unanswered things, but at least we would have had a little bit more context and gotten a little bit more plot and kind of backstory in a way. Things that did work for me in this book were the atmosphere. He knows how to write just a creepy, heavy atmosphere. I thought the pacing was good. It really just threw you right into the story, which I really liked. There were a few parts of the book that weren't as well paced, that were mainly having to do with kind of like flashback scenes for Macy's life. I just really didn't care too much for Macy as a character, and I didn't care about her backstory, so I found myself skimming a lot of those sections, and those did kind of drag for me a little bit. But I'm still not going to count that against the book, because overall, like, the action was happening, like things were moving. This book was so creepy. Like I said, I think a few times in this vlog, I literally could not read this at night because it was freaking me out. I eventually just like needed to finish the book, and a lot of my free time to read is in the evening, so I was like, you know what, you gotta be brave and just read it in the dark. And I did, and it was fine. But I did get genuinely creeped out multiple times. The descriptions of things made me feel so uncomfy. I do also kind of wish that this had a little bit more depth to it. I think that it would have had a really great opportunity to kind of like talk about something. With a lot of horror books, they do kind of have an underlying theme, and I do enjoy horror books that are just there for the entertainment, for the horror. But I do also really love horror books, especially that like explore grief and things like that. And with this one, because of the rites that Macy has to perform, or something bad will happen, that's basically like how OCD is. You have this intrusive thought, and then you have to perform some kind of like ritual to feel okay and get momentary relief from it. and I think that it could have been cool if maybe that had been a little bit more explored. This does kind of talk about mental health a tiny bit. Maybe it doesn't even talk about it though, it just includes characters that have issues with their mental health in the past. Like I said in an earlier clip, there is a trigger warning for self-unaliving. With all of that said though, like that is just kind of like a me thing and something that I think would have been cool if it were done, but I'm obviously not holding that against the book, because if that's not the story that he wanted to tell, that's not the story he wanted to tell. I do just kind of feel like there were things missing from this for me. It just felt a little bit surface level and not completely fleshed out. If he for some reason wanted to put out like a sequel where things are a little bit more explored and explained, I don't think there will be. It wouldn't really make sense for him to. Then I would be a little bit more okay with how everything has ended. I'm literally being so cryptic. This probably makes no sense. Anyway, I think that if you were a fan of his last book, if you like horror, I think you should give this a try when it comes out, but it unfortunately was not one of my favorites that I read this month. So that's my final update. Thank you so much to Gabby for hosting such a fun readathon. Hopefully this was still fun to watch even though I'm getting it out quite a bit after the readathon happened. I am definitely in the mood to keep reading horror, so if you have any recommendations in that genre, I would love for you to leave them in the comments for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.